Okay, so welcome back. Hey, today we're going to go over the anatomy of a dirt hole set. I'm going to take a quick second. I'm going to go over some of the equipment I use, the difference in my anchoring systems, and some precautionary steps I'm going to take as far as not transferring my scent out here. Now, if anybody's going to watch this is out of season. This is for instructional purposes only. I'm going to be pulling these sets immediately after. In fact, I'll probably leave it on film just as proof that the set is no longer in play. So give me a minute. I'm going to pan over some of this equipment and we're actually going to get down into making this dirt hole set. Okay, so welcome back. Hey, real quick, I'm just going to go over some of the stuff that I'm going to be using today or just talking about. Number one is you got to have some good gloves. You want to make sure we're going to be able to control that scent. You don't have to get anything fancy. I think I got these for $2 or $3. It's just a latex covered glove. It's all it is. I have three of the traps that I use pretty consistent out here. I have just a Duke number 2, just a 2 coil. I have a Bridger 165, and then I have my trusty Duke 1.5. This is probably my go-to trap for anything in the water sets, or if I'm talking about Fox. Anything other than that, if we're talking larger, I'm going to go to my 165 or even my number 2s. Okay. Anchoring systems, I have a couple that I use pretty frequently. If I'm in an open area like this, I'm gonna try to stick with my Berkshire stakes, my disposable stakes, with a good driver. I usually buy these, just the piece themselves, and I get that 3/32 cable and I make them myself. It seems to be a lot cheaper. And this is probably what I use the most out on my line. Now sometimes I'm gonna be in a really sandy condition, and these stakes they can pull up at times. So if I have the ability to, I like to use these drags. And I typically have them on a 6-foot chain, and I usually have them with the snap rings. I really enjoy using these. They're really quick to just put them on the trap, take them off. If I need to change anything out, it's right there. I can either swap my trap out real fast, or I can get a different anchoring system if it didn't work out for me. So something else I like to use. And then my last go-to, typically not for coyotes, but if I'm talking fox or coon, I have just some 3/32 cable that I have, and I just put a ferrule on them, just a loop, so it allows me to actually loop this through my trap real quick, and then I can anchor it to a tree, a rod, or anything like that. And I make them, I usually have two. I have a 5-foot that I'll use, and then I'll actually make them 10-foot too, because sometimes you get in some areas where the closest anchoring system you're gonna have is a pretty good distance away. So I'll carry them at 5 and 10 foot. Now we go to just our basics, just having a trowel, a post hole driver, and then our sifters, whether you use wood or metal. It's all about taste, whatever you actually prefer. So this is just the basic equipment I'm going to take out on the trap. Again, I'm not going to be getting into lures. I am not going to be getting into baits and all that stuff until the season actually picks up. I don't really have a preference. It's whatever works. Some days, we want pizza. Some days we want ribs. I think animals are the same way. They have things that they will frequent, but they, changing things up on your set's going to help out a lot. So I'm not going to get too much into that right now, but for now, this is the basic equipment I'm going to use out here. I will talk about the pan covers once I actually get the set made, and we'll go from there. And again, it's all about preference, it's all about taste, it's all about application. So we'll get to that here in a minute. So give me a quick minute to get everything set up. We're gonna get this, this dirt hole made, and we'll get on out of here. Okay, we got gloves on. Let's go ahead and get everything done. Hey, so I went ahead and picked this area. It's a nice flat area. It has a natural depression in, and it's very wide. So it is already gonna make my my critters kind of come into this particular area. So this is the area I'm gonna be using right here, and I actually have a good backing up there. So the first thing we're gonna do is let's go ahead and make our trap bed, all right? Now this stuff shouldn't be taking too long. Again, we're talking about efficiency. Oh boy, this stuff is very nice and soft. So now when we're talking about distance, however far you're going to put your trap from your actual dirt hole, again, we're talking about preference. It's what works here isn't going to work somewhere else. So application. And if you see that you're not getting stuff set in here, remember that change things up. If you find something that's just not working out on your line, just try to change something up a little bit. Now, I don't have any of my traps night last or anything, But, all right. Now I've already fired all my traps off. See if I can do is I'll pop my hand. And actually, this one is night latch. This is one of the first traps I actually got that was night latch. Make sure our pan is nice and flush. Dog in, dog out. Again, we're gonna be talking about application, okay? So all these sticks, you know, you're gonna want that stuff out. I like to put just a little bowl in mine. We got cable out of the way for now. You know, the big thing is, you know, you hear everybody talk about is, hey, make sure, you know, make sure this trap is just not going to be rocking, and that is absolutely true. Because the last thing you're going to want, and I know you've heard it if you've been watching these videos, is, you know, you're not going to want a finicky, you know, yoke out of your line digging up your trap because he's stepping on something. And the reason they dig it up is they're curious. They want to know what is, you know, what's underneath their feet, what's causing them to move. Get this stuff out of this thing. And here we go. I mean, we're talking about having a solid bedded trap. Don't want nothing under there. All right. So whether we're talking about, you know, stake systems or whatnot, again, I like these quick disconnects because out on the line, you know, I can throw them on there real fast. And, you know, if I need to, you know, I can swap them off. But I also have these quick disconnects on here. These are awesome to have. The only downside you're going to have is sometimes they do get gummed up and they can get kind of hard to untwist. You can see me do this. This is actually nice. When I went through during my prep and I actually started cleaning all this stuff out, you know, and it's just simple, something like that, you know, and it's going to save me a lot of time. I'm not going to get all into bedding the anchors, but typically I would go ahead and have this thing pre-wrapped around a tree. Typically, I'm not even going to say typically, I would never use this drag out here, but because I'm doing this video, I will, because the tree line it's a good distance away, all right? And I would just have that set out there. Now, when it comes to pan covers, I use, it just depends, honestly. I do have wax paper that I can use. I do have screen covers, and you know, at times, you know, if you're in a pinch, you leave something at home, you know, you can use a big leaf out there, okay? The other thing is, you know, peat moss. I know a lot of people use peat moss. They won't even use pan covers. They'll just throw that peat moss on there, and you know, that's all fine. You know, I have screens that are pre-done. I can show you real quick. Just pre-cut out screens, and you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, grab a big sheet of this screen material for, you know, pennies on the dollar, and just cut them out real quick. We can just throw them on. And right now, it's still early, very, very early in the season. So that's it right there. That's, you know, we have everything. Try to blend this in a little bit. Woo! All right, well, like I said, that never happens. That never happens like that. All right. Well, you know what? I'm kind of glad that happened out here because everything doesn't go according to plan. So, let's get this thing remade real fast. I'm actually kind of glad it did happen because you know what? Nothing ever goes according to plan out there on the line. So this one allowed me to kind of go, you know, at full speed, get this trap bedded down real quick. And if you actually notice, I don't have very much pan tension on there, and the reason why is here in the state of New York, everything goes into season at the same time. All of our coyotes, our foxes, all that stuff goes into season at the exact same time. So whether I want to catch, you know, a coon or a coyote, foxes, it really doesn't matter to me because fur is fur, you know. And you know, when we're talking about, you know, catching critters actually out on this line, so I don't like very much pan tension on mine. I just don't. You know, if we are targeting, you know, particular animals, I understand. I totally got it. All right. Okay, there we go. Moving on. So, holes. So whether you're going to have a driver and I will use this. You can have your driver. Again, it's going to be on what the animal's going to be wanting that time. If you want to have, a nice big hole to really get them attracted. And what you can't see here is there's actually an animal trail that comes right by here. This is why I actually picked this area out. This is an area that I'm actually going to come to. But if you want to use your post hole driver and get you a nice hole, everybody knows you want them at a 45. You want to be able to force the animal to come in front of this trap. And mine is actually offset. My pan is offset just a little bit. Okay, 45 degrees. I do like my holes nice and deep. Those coyotes, they like to work these sets. And if you don't have one of those, if you just have a trowel, just work that thing in there. Again, this is very, very loose dirt. So, all right, get that nice and deep. Make a little run like something's coming in there. This is at the point where I'm going to bait it, where I'm going to be using, sheep's wool and whatever type of lure and bait that I'm going to have. This is the point in which I'm going to do it. This is the basic set. I mean, this is about as basic as you're going to get as far as just a dirt hole set. Actually, what I did, I hate to leave the camera like this, but I actually have a log that was right over here from the backing that I was going to use. Just something that tells the animal, hey, just a little bit more eye appeal, something that's going to bring it on over here. Put some urine on the top side of this log, and then I also keep a scat that I find out throughout the season in Ziploc bags. Put a little piece of scat up here. But that's your basic set right there. I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than that. If you have any questions, by all means, send me a comment. The other thing is, no, I guess that's about it. So, the next thing we're going to be doing is we'll be doing a step down. And I have a big brush pile over here I'm going to use on why I'm going to pick that particular area as a step down set. But that's it. I mean, we're coming out here, we're setting up simple sets, and my trap went off and I'm still talking, 2 or 3 minutes to get set up and get out of here. And that's honestly, that's what we're looking for. So then, hey, thanks for staying tuned. Boy, I just had a mouthful of dirt on that one. If you have anything you want to see, by all means, shoot me a comment down below, something I can work on. I'm up for all criticism. So thanks again, stay tuned.